I mean, I really, I don't know what to say. That was one of the craziest endings I've ever seen. Gonzaga, UCLA. I mean, you can't make it up. I mean, you really can't. And then the fact we're getting Baylor versus Gonzaga for the national championship in Indianapolis, where they were supposed to play, but it got canceled right before the game started. I mean, this is a dream. This is what I've been saying every single round. This is the one. Hey, this is the one thing that's holding my basketball integrity, intact. Is I've stuck true to this. We're gonna see Gonzaga Baylor. I always knew the destination. I just didn't know how we would get there. Oh, obviously we're here. I can't believe it, guys. I've had a smile on my face since that shot went down. I mean, that is one of the best shots I've ever seen. I think my top 4 would be the Watford for the win, where Indiana beat Kentucky in 2012. And another one would be when Roosevelt Jones beat Gonzaga, actually, at the buzzer back in 2013. I think that's when that was, when Butler beat Gonzaga and Hinkle. And then, again, another one would be the Diakite shot to tie it versus Purdue. That was an incredible game, but this is probably my favorite. I can't believe this. I really am speechless. I mean, the fact that happened, and then the fact we're getting Gonzaga Baylor, and I'm going to be at that. And if you ask me which one would I rather have been at, I would definitely say Gonzaga Baylor, even if last night was insane. But yeah, I'm so happy. I'm just very happy. So let's break this down. I mean, really, there's a lot to talk about. I didn't make a whole big prediction video for the games yesterday because I didn't really want to. I just, I mean, what else am I going to say? I wanted to see Gonzaga Baylor. I mean, UCLA played a perfect game. All things considered, they legit played a perfect game. Every time they needed a shot, they made it. They slowed Gonzaga down in transition. Gonzaga had to play in half court. They didn't get any transition buckets, basically. So they had to do that, and UCLA locked them up from 3. I mean, and it really is incredible UCLA lost that game because they played perfect. But obviously, to lose a game like that, you got to lose an insane shot, and that's how they lost. So huge props to them. And then Houston, I mean, if Marcus Sasser didn't have any points, I think the score would have been like 45-3 at half. I mean, think about that. If Marcus Sasser didn't have any points, Baylor would have been up at half 45-3. I mean, that's how Baylor plays. Like I'm so happy I get to go see this game. This video is just kind of me rambling. So if you want to listen, please. But if you don't, I know this style is not what you're subscribed for, but I don't know what to say, guys. I can't believe we're getting this. Like, in my time of watching college basketball, the best national championship I've been watching since 2009. The best national championships that I can remember are obviously Butler Duke, just because of the story. That one is awesome. Another would be Kentucky UConn, honestly, because of just how absurd that was. And then really, Duke Wisconsin was really incredible game between 2 1 seeds. And then the year after that, North Carolina Villanova. I mean, that one, I think that's probably been the best for sure, based on how that ended and just how competitive that was. And then 2017 as well. I think 2017 was one of the best I've seen. And then obviously 2019 as well too. I mean, Texas Tech was a 3 seed. So I mean, it's not like a 1 versus 1, but this is legit the top 2 teams in the tournament. I don't think that's happened since 2005 when North Carolina beat Illinois. But I didn't watch that game, so I don't really remember that. But oh man, I can't wait to be at that game tomorrow. It's really going to be like, I couldn't have asked for a better game. I really couldn't have. Like, this is everything I wanted out of this tournament. I didn't really care. I could have predicted every game wrong, except for like Baylor and Gonzaga's road to get to the championship, and I'd have been perfectly happy with how this all turned out. I mean, this is awesome. I honestly kind of did. My bracket's not very good. I mean, it is good. It's good enough. It's good enough because I've got the championship. I've never predicted a championship correctly. Like 2 teams. I've only ever gotten 1. So this is awesome for me. And it's between 2 teams that I freaking love. Like Gonzaga team, the whole story. Mark Few, just one of the best coaches in the sport, really deserves a championship. Then we have Baylor, like this Baylor team. I legit have a poster of them. Like, I don't have a poster of any other college team. Legit, I don't have any other poster of a college basketball team except for them. Like, this is one of my favorite teams I've ever seen. Like, I'm genuinely gonna be at this game and I don't care what happens. Not many times I can say that. In terms of I'm gonna be so happy to just watch them play. That's the premise. It's not like I'm going to watch Duke versus Kentucky where I hate both of them and I don't care what happens. This is like the complete opposite. This is gonna be between 2 teams that I don't care what happens. This is gonna be awesome. So first, let's talk about Baylor real quick. This has been my team all season, and I really started to love them last season. Come on to the rise. I didn't really expect them to be as good as they were. I remember watching their first game. That wasn't their first game. I know I watched their game over Washington. Watching that game versus Washington, I fell in love. I mean, just the style of basketball they played, They had guys that, like the guards, you know, that's the reason I like watching Baylor is their guards. They just were fun to watch. And then obviously last season's tournament got canceled, so we didn't get to see them, you know, fulfill what they were trying to accomplish, getting to a Final Four. But that didn't matter because they came back this year to get to a national championship game. And you know that pause that happened, you know, the COVID pause where they came back and they didn't really look the same. Well, that defense has been turned on and they're very active. They're scoring with ease. Beat Hartford. You know, the Wisconsin game, they look good. The Nova game, you know, they struggled with their length. I'll say that. However, they looked really good. And then Arkansas, I mean, that Arkansas game was the one that scared me the most, more than any of them. So, it was close. I mean, Baylor, every time they needed a bucket, they got it. So that was very thankful they advanced because Arkansas played pretty dang well. And then obviously they just annihilated Houston, in my opinion. So, I mean, I'm just so happy they're here. And then Maceo Teague. You know, Maceo Teague's, I would say possibly their leader, and maybe Mark Vidal is, but I think Maceo, you know, he's the senior. He deserves this. He's been playing very well. Mark Vidal down low is just a bully in all the, I mean, in a good way. Mark Vidal is one of the best players you'd ever meet. I mean, listening to him talk, he's awesome. Really one of the, like, my favorite college basketball players of all time, Mark Vidal. Then obviously Jared Butler, he's playing a lot better. He looked really good versus Houston, and you know they need him to be. He is their best player, so they need him to be their best player, and he hasn't been. That's what makes Baylor great is they've got guys that can pick up the slack, like Davion Mitchell. I mean, Davion Mitchell playing in this tournament, top 2 player. Johnny Juzang, I think Davion Mitchell would be number 2. And then Matthew Meyer, you know, a wild card player that's really elevated his game. Adam Flagler, every time they need a big shot, they get one from him. He's been very instrumental in this run. He might not be like their best scoring player, but every time they pass the ball to him and he shoots, he makes it. So he's been very key. And, you know, they're bigs. You know, everyday Jonathan Chamuchachua. I mean, his motor is insane. He never gets tired. And he's really risen his play. That was the one thing I was concerned about with Baylor was their bigs. That's not a concern. I mean, everyday John is a workhorse. And then Flo Thamba been playing very well also. So like, this Baylor team has rounded into form. I've said all year they were the best team I've seen. And then, you know, after that COVID pause, I was concerned. And I picked Gonzaga in my bracket because I just thought they had an easy road to get to the national championship at the very least. And, you know, my thing with filling out a bracket is I'm not trying to be perfect. I'm just trying to avoid, you know, the ship falling in. So that's why I picked them, because I was a little concerned about Baylor's road, honestly. I really was. Thought they were going to have to face Illinois in the semifinal. And if Illinois... Thank God they did not play Illinois. I mean, seriously, if they played Illinois, I don't know if they would have gotten here because like Illinois just got upset by Loyola. Like that was just a freak game. And I'm so happy for Coach Drew. He deserves this. And Coach Tang at Baylor, assistant coach there. I mean, Scott Drew deserves this moment. Even if he doesn't win the national championship, he deserves this. And then we have Gonzaga, who beat Norfolk State. Then they beat Oklahoma, Lon Kruger's last game as the coach of the Sooners. They beat Creighton, and Creighton looked pretty dang well, and yet they blew them out. Beat USC, and that game was a blowout too. And USC looked really good this tournament. Like they didn't play any close games. And then that UCLA game, I mean, good God. It's the Timmy charge with 4 fouls at the end of the game. It just felt like that was not going to, I mean, it was the correct call. I'm happy for the official that called that because I know that he was under a lot of pressure too. But I mean, that was a very clean call. But God, I mean, I almost threw up because I thought they were gonna get free throws and win the game. UCLA, they legit played a perfect game. They never missed. It felt like Gonzaga even kind of played horribly on offense, but you know they had 90 points, which is just insane. That's like the craziest thing to me is how they didn't hit any threes. They scored like 90 points. It's crazy. And then Jalen Suggs shot to win it all and get to the national championship game. You can't make this stuff up. I'm very happy for Mark Few. Very happy for Tommy Lloyd, his assistant. Mark Few deserves to be in another national championship. I mean, that shot was very comparable to the Leitner shot. And the thing about Gonzaga is that I think they're really starting to become a dominant force in college basketball. I know they have been for the past 20 years. Let's not kid ourselves. Gonzaga is an elite program. There's no doubts about that. But what I'm saying is that, you know, I think Duke went on to win the national championship in '92 when Leitner hit the shot. So that felt very similar. And if Gonzaga does win the national championship, based on how they're recruiting, based on Mark Few and just how things are going for Gonzaga, people want to go there. Obviously, getting Jalen Suggs was just monumental. I think they could become, you know, really a blue blood in college basketball. I don't think they're there yet. Obviously, they don't have a national championship, but I really think this is just the start for them. And then, you know, their players like Jalen Suggs has just been unbelievable. I honestly thought he kind of got shut down a little bit. You know, Joel Ayayi was their best player, or at least Drew Timme was, but like Jalen Suggs was not their best player, at least for UCLA. He is their best player, in my opinion. Timme's close, but I think Suggs just, you know, going to the NBA, he's going to be just an absolute superstar in the NBA. But what I'm saying is that Jalen Suggs did not play very well, but to hit that shot, I mean, that made up for everything. And then Kispert played pretty well. Didn't get a lot of open threes like he's used to. Joel Ayayi, he played, I mean, he was the best player for sure, in my opinion, at least in the first half for sure. But Andrew Nembhard hit that clutch 3. it's still crazy that they almost like lost that game. And then Drew Timme. I mean, Drew Timme has been their best player. I've said that. I mean, good God, I don't even know who to pick. I mean, everybody on Gonzaga's starting five is awesome. And then, you know, even their bench guys, Aaron Cook and Anton Watson, they showed up as well. I can't believe we're getting this game. I can't stop smiling. I really can't. Now, let's talk about Baylor. If Baylor wants to win this championship, they have to defend the transition. That's something that UCLA did perfectly. Gonzaga still scored 90. It's crazy to me. Like, Gonzaga wants to score in transition, and Baylor or UCLA didn't allow them to do that at all. So Baylor's bench is going to have to be a huge factor because they're going to have to stop Timme. I think they're very capable of doing. I really stand by everything I said in my Baylor's better than Gonzaga video. Really a unique situation for me. I don't know what to say because all season I've said Baylor is better than Gonzaga. Baylor's better than Gonzaga. In college basketball, you don't usually get these type of outcomes where something like this happens. We get the two teams that I really can't believe this game's actually happening. And if Gonzaga has to win, you know, they just have to defend well, in my opinion. I mean, it's going to score. If you can just stop them from shooting threes and, you know, making them, which I've always said that Gonzaga's defense is going to be an issue for them if they play Baylor because Baylor is aggressive. Their guards are very aggressive. If Baylor can just protect the paint, I think Baylor has a really good shot. I've seen people say that was Gonzaga's like national championship was beating UCLA. I think that's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Like this is the national championship. This is what everybody really wants. UCLA was a fun story, but no, it's Gonzaga Baylor. Like don't kid yourself here. And you know I've flipped on this pick all season. Baylor was my team to win over Gonzaga before it was all canceled. Said they were the best team this year, Baylor. And, you know, even before they came back off after their COVID pause, we're still good despite, you know, some scares versus Iowa State, Kansas State. Thought, you know, once tournament time usually hits, that's when guys usually turn it on because it's a different ball game. I mean, it's not the same. Got to turn it up. And they did. And you know, Baylor was, in my opinion, the best defensive team I've seen this year. The fact they can hit threes is just huge in their guard play. And when I was filling out my bracket, I just saw how simple Gonzaga's route to get to the national championship was. I had a lot of faith. That's why I picked them because I was a little concerned about Baylor's road. I thought they're going to have to play a team like UNC and Purdue that had the bigs and played in transition. That was something that concerned me. And even if I mean, Arkansas was a tough challenge as well. And I thought they were going to play Illinois. Like, I just thought Baylor's road to get here was going to be a challenge. And thankfully it was not. They literally avoided 3 teams out of the 4 that I thought were going to give them problems. So, I mean, that's huge. That's huge. I think Baylor really matches up well with Gonzaga, though. I stand by everything I said in that video. I've said that. I want you to go watch that. It's in the description. It's going to be at the end of the video. Please go watch my video talking about why I think Baylor is better than Gonzaga. But for my prediction, I think I have to keep riding with Gonzaga. It's the fact that I've picked them in my bracket. I stand by that. I did not pick Baylor to win it all. So I stand by that, okay? Even if I've said all season I thought Baylor was better, I have to stand by what I say. And I said Gonzaga is going to win it all in my bracket. Said it all throughout this. I have to keep riding with them. But if Baylor does hit their shots, and if, you know, they make Gonzaga struggle on offense, Baylor will win this game. I can't wait to watch this though. Like, I'm a winner no matter what happens. And then that sounded dumb, but like I am. These are the 2 teams I've always wanted to see play each other, and we're getting it. And I really do not care what happens. If Gonzaga wins, that's great for me. I was right. In my bracket, I get a little bit of money. And if Baylor wins, I mean, this is one of my favorite teams of all time. So like, I can't lose. There's just no losing. And I can't wait to be there tomorrow. It's the best part. I get to go to my first ever championship of any kind. I've never been to a championship in any sport. So like, this is going to be something I really will cherish. It was weird watching the Final Four. It did feel a little empty. Final Four is, in my opinion, one of the most packed sporting events every year because you can fit way more people inside a football stadium because they have seats usually where, you know, the field is. Add more seats in. So like, it was very weird watching it be so empty. It was honestly kind of disappointing, but I'm going to do my best to capture the game and just the atmosphere for the national championship. And I can't wait for you guys to watch that video. So there's my prediction. We did it. Gonzaga versus Baylor. It's happening. I can't stop smiling. I've said that probably 3-4 times in this video. I'm so excited to be there tomorrow, guys. It's going to be a game that I will always cherish. Something I've always wanted to witness this season, especially after losing, you know, the season last year. I said I was going to be at the Final Four next year after, you know, everything got canceled. And I chose, I mean, it cost a lot of money to go to this. So I chose going to the championship because I had hoped that it would be Gonzaga Baylor, which is unique because I usually would probably rather be at the Final Four because obviously you get 2 games, but I wanted to be at Gonzaga Baylor, and we're getting that. And it's just featuring the 2 best teams that we witnessed this season. I really believe when I say this could top last night. I think it really could top UCLA versus Gonzaga. I think it really could. I'm so happy. All right, I'm not gonna waste your guys' time anymore. That's my prediction. Thank you for watching if you did. And yeah, next video you will see on this channel will be from that game. And I can't wait for you guys to watch that. It's gonna be a special video. So that will do it. Go Gonzaga and go Baylor. I don't care who wins. I'm gonna be cheering for both of them. I really will. This is awesome. Can't wait to be there. All right, I'll see you guys. I'm not gonna waste your time. I'm still rambling. All right, peace.